All right, so for like the last decade, online sales have been driving, sales for many clothing brands. And retail has still been a factor in that until now. We're starting to see a switch in the market and we're starting to see retailers starting to grow again. Now, why is that? Why is that important to you as a fashion brand? And how can you incorporate working with retail stores to increase your sales, not just online, but also with the retail stores? So let's discuss this next here on Making the Brand. What's up, everybody? Rob Norman here from Planet Brooklyn Academy, and this is Making the Brand, Season 2. Series where I give you a little knowledge and insight on how to start a clothing brand, and if you already have one, how to make it better. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything I drop when it drops. Okay, so what is the change going on in the industry right now? So don't call it a comeback. Retail has been here for years. Yes. If you do not know where that line is from, you should probably go check out LL Cool J's album, Mama Says Knock You Out. That's where that reference is from. But what is going on right now with retail? So as I said at the top, online sales has been the driving force behind most sales for everybody just starting clothing lines within the last 10 to 15 years. But much like everything that goes on, there is a high point and then there's a plateau. And then things kind of level off. So before there was online shopping, let's go back to the first boom of when internet started, when it really blew up. And we're talking about mid to late 90s, when the internet really took off and everybody started doing .coms. So it was booming, people were making a lot of money with it. Everybody was just buying up .com names, and then big companies had to buy their names back from individuals that were using it. And people swore that because of the .com and emails that letters were going to go to the wayside. Nobody was going to be writing letters anymore. And post office is going to end up shutting down because everybody's using email, and because of online, nobody's going to be printing ads anymore, and television commercials are going to go obsolete. And none of that happened. Basically, internet boomed, and then there was an internet bust, and then basically everything leveled out. And then you saw, as you can see now, people still get mail, and the internet email didn't kill that. And there's still advertisements that you get in the mail and you see on television. So the internet didn't kill that. So we get these highs and lows of things, so it evens out. Then when you think about crypto era at the beginning of 2010s, and suddenly, crypto came out. And everybody kept saying this is going to be the downfall of money. People won't have money no more. It's all going to be about crypto, and crypto was huge. And then what happened? Crypto blew up, and now it kind of leveled out. And we still have money, we still have actual tangible bills, and we have crypto. It balances out. So now we're talking about what happened with fashion and online sales. So of course, online sales blew up, and then everybody started saying that retail stores are going to die. Now, as you guys all know, sales online blew up because of COVID, the pandemic. Because while everybody was in lockdown, only way we can get anything was by shopping online. And that's logical. So of course, online blew up, everybody was doing great. A lot of stores went out of business because they didn't have, people coming into stores. And they also didn't have the infrastructure that they should have had online to be able to still exist. So a lot of stores fell by the wayside. Malls were becoming empty. As you know, malls are closing down because people don't shop in malls. So online was huge. Everybody's been shopping online. But as I just said, suddenly what you're noticing is that stores are starting to pick up in sales. Now, why is that? Well, one of the reasons why stores are picking up is because it is plateauing, much like the other examples I gave you. It's now online is great, but now people started realizing that during the pandemic, yes, I need to order things, and yes, I like this, and I can get these items. Now that we've come out of it and people went back to work, it was so much easier for people to say, you know what, I can just walk over to Zara's instead of ordering online on my lunch break. I can go get it because people started going back to work. Other issue is that people ordering things online from Shein and cheaper, manufacturers, they're getting these things, and you know what it takes to order something, get it, you realize it's not the type of quality you want. So now you gotta pack it up, you gotta ship it back, you gotta do all this stuff. where now people can actually see the quality of what they're purchasing. They can just walk into the store, see it, and hey, yeah, I like this, I'll buy it. Or if I don't like it, it wasn't like I thought I saw on social media. I thought it was gonna be a different kind of garment. I thought it was gonna flow differently. So I'm not gonna buy it. It saved people money and time. So people realizing that I don't have to sit here and order things and get it and not like and gotta send it back. And now it's like 2 weeks of me not having a product where I can just walk to the store. So people are starting to realize that. So they're going into stores. Now, this is not saying that online is dying. It's not. It's going to continue to grow. But it was at one point where it was outpacing retail, and retail was just slowing down. Now, again, retail is coming back. And it's again, people like to actually touch things. They like the tangibility of feeling, looking at garments, seeing other things, and getting out and being sociable. Also, the other thing is that we're going through a phase where a lot of Gen Z has been brought up with the digital age. They're not familiar with certain things like records, which has become very popular within the last decade. And even more so, if you check the records, you'll see that vinyl record sales have been growing over the years because Gen Z never grew up with records. So they're used to hearing digital sound, and now they have a physical item to look at. Reading the bylines on it, looking at the art, something that you don't get when you do a digital download. It's a whole different experience. So you have this younger generation that's buying into physical records. You're starting to see more bookstores opening now. Barnes & Nobles at one time was closing stores. Now they're opening stores because they've changed their dynamics of their bookstores. So now they're catering to certain audiences. So you can get manga books in there, or something that you couldn't get before, or you're getting certain kind of authors that are particular to a certain region in that area. And people like that. Now, people are always going to buy books off of Amazon. But the fact that you can go into a bookstore and look for a particular book and then find an author similar to this one you like, or stories similar to what you're reading, you can now peruse those things. And that's something you can't get when you're online. You're just looking at books and getting suggestions, but it's nicer to pick up the book and be able to read it, not get the first chapter on Amazon and see it, and then you got to make a determination if you want it or not. So we're getting back to this era where people want tangible things. They want to touch things. They want to see things. So for fashion, people are going back to the stores. Now, what does this have to do with you as a fashion brand? Well, with you as a fashion brand, yes, you have been making all your money online, and that's been great. But you can also now make more money if you wholesale your line to retailers. So I talked about this in a past episode about how wholesale works and why wholesale is good. Now, to give you a brief, review of what we talked about, when you're doing wholesale, basically, you know that you are selling your shirt, say right now, you're selling your shirt for like $30. Now, you know that it costs you about $7.50 to make that shirt. And if you keystone it, which in fashion industry terms, that means you're basically doubling it, you know that now you're paying $15. So $7.50 to make the shirt, another $7.50 to make profit. That is just to cover your baselines, but you will mark it up to $30. So you make more of a profit, which is great, and people will pay for it. Now, that's what you're selling it at. Now, if you want to sell it to a store, as I said, retailer is picking up, and you say, hey, let me go to this store. They have maybe 5 stores. You can go to them and they say, yeah, we want to carry your product here. So now what you're going to do is they will look at your items and say, okay, I want this particular item. So you've got to sell it to them at $7.50 because they have to be able to sell it at $30 also. You don't want them selling it for more than what you're selling it for. And if they sell it for more than what you're selling it for, that's going to lower your product, your value of your product. And at the same time, it may not sell over there because people know you for your brand and they're paying $30. They're not going to pay $60. So it has to be the same price. So that means you have to sell that shirt to them at $15 so that they can turn around and sell the shirt at $30. Now, it may seem to you like, well, why would I want to wholesale? Because I'm selling it, at $30 and it only cost me $7.50 to make. Why would I want to wholesale it? Yes, you're making more money on your own and it's great, but you got to think at the bigger picture of this. If you sell it to a store that has 5 other stores, they're not just going to buy, one shirt. You normally set it up where they have to buy a minimum of 12 or 24 shirts and by color and design. So if you have one shirt and it comes in 3 different colors, you can tell them, yes, this shirt is in these colors, but you have to buy 12 pieces of every, piece. So if they say of those 3 colorways, I want the black and I want the gray. I don't want the red. Black and gray, give me those 2. Okay, so you're gonna buy 24 pieces. So you gotta buy 12 of the black and 12 of the gray of that one design. Now, if you have multiple designs, they'll do the same. So if you start doing the math, you realize if you've got 5 designs and then, they're buying 2 colorways of each, you're starting to make money, and they're buying that for all 5 stores. So now you see how the numbers make sense. So yeah, you can sell your one shirt at $30 and you made a profit, but you've got this store that just bought it off of you and bought 24 pieces for 5 of their stores. So you make a lot of money. So this is why you start going around shopping your deals and starting to see what stores want to sell and buy from you. So this is why stores, retailers becoming more important again. Makes sense for you as a fashion brand to start going around, looking online, looking at stores, retailers, and start to see who carries brands similar to yours. And then start to reach out to them, send them a little package, a digital package about what your brand is, and say, hey, these are my wholesale prices. And if you're interested, hit me back. And then if they hit you back, they'll place orders with you, and now you can be in the stores where people physically can now see your product. The beauty of this works twofold. One, yes, you are, making money because you're selling it to, a store that has multiple locations, and even if they have one, but your product is now getting in front of new customers, people who probably never heard of you, because the store is going to promote it because they want to sell the product. They want to make sure they sell it so they can now re-up with you again. So you're getting new eyes on your product, fresher, and their store is now promoting your product. So it works for you in twofold. So now if you have maybe 4 different stores who have maybe 2 to 3 stores of their own, that's more product getting out there. So it's more work, which now will force people to come back and look at your online store, and they may purchase things that they don't carry, that only you carry exclusively online. I like to do that when I'm working wholesale. I like to create certain colorways that maybe I will only sell wholesale to certain stores, but certain colorways of that design, we only sell online. So it boosts our online sales because yes, people can go to stores and buy these colorways, but if you want this special colorway, you gotta go to our online and get it. Or we'll just create a certain graphic that's a deviation of the ones that we're wholesaling and say, these are limited editions, it's only dropping for this long. So again, it helps people buy from us, but at the same time, shop with them. We can always say, hey, if you want this colorway, it's available at these stores. So it's kind of a give and take. It works for both of you. But again, in an era where, yes, online, you can make a lot of money, partnering up with retail stores and getting into as many doors as possible is great. And it doesn't just have to be here. You can look overseas. Streetwear is big globally, but some of the key places that you may want to try to push your brand, Japan and Germany, those are huge hubs for streetwear. So trying to get into Japan or Germany and trying to see, if there are private labels there or private retailers that can carry your stuff would be great. And because you got the internet, it makes life so much easier to do. Now, a quick side note, if you are going to do wholesale, something you can think about is that as you're producing wholesales, you can approach it one of 2 ways. You can tell a retailer that if they want to buy a particular item of yours, they can either order through it open stock or they can do prepacks. Now, some of you probably never heard of this. And again, this is a term that's been around a long time. When you work with bigger stores, you'll understand, or bigger brands, they talk in these numbers. So let me tell you, break down what the difference of a prepack and open stock is. So what a prepack is that it makes it a lot easier for you to deal with wholesale with stores when you do prepacks, because if you tell a store we have a prepack system and they want to buy your t-shirt, like I said, the example before, here's this one black t-shirt, and they say, yes, I want that shirt. Say, okay, well, this pre-pack comes in normally we'll do something like a 2-4-4-2. So what is a 2-4-4-2? So that is a pre-pack combination of, there would be 2 smalls, 4 mediums, 4 larges, and 2 extra larges. So you break it down based on how the sizes that most commonly sell, and you'll break it down to that. So that's what a 2-4-4-2 is, and that is basically a dozen. So you have a dozen shirts for that. Now, the next thing you would do is say, after you get that breakdown, they would have to say, well, I know I need more, I need more mediums, more blacks. So that for that black, So they'll buy another dozen to increase the amount. So you can get more orders out of them if you do it that way. Now, the difference with that versus open stock is that open stock, you don't give them any numbers. You just say, you want to buy this, you got to buy 24 pieces, you got to buy 12 pieces or 24 pieces. And then what they'll say to you is, okay, fine, I want this design. And normally you'll have an order sheet and they'll tell you how many of sizes they want. So they may need 5 smalls and only 1 extra large. So they will make up the combination that they want. Now, that's cool because you don't have to set up prepacks. This kind of allows them to place the order the way they want. The problem with that, though, is that when you do open stock, and if you're keeping inventory at your warehouse or wherever you're producing your garments from, that problem comes in is that sometimes you may be short on certain sizes, not enough. So you got to tell them, well, it's going to take us a couple more days to get that order for you done because we don't have smalls. We don't normally keep smalls in house. So you got to print that. So it becomes a little bit more of a problem, not much of a problem, but you got to keep certain things on stock because certain stores, they may sell out more smalls than they do extra larges. And some places sell more 2Xs than they do mediums. So if you start doing that, your numbers get really funny when you're stocking shirts to print. And so it gets crazy. But as prepacks, it's kind of a set number. So they know like, this is how many we have in the preset. So you either got to buy more from us or you just buy a lower number. So something to think about when you're doing prepacks and open stock, when you're starting to do wholesale. But I recommend if you're just starting and you're just doing 1 or 2, 3 graphics, you can do open stock. It's not hard to do. But if you're starting to do more than that and you're dealing with more retailers to simplify your life, I would say do prepacks with them. All right, so again, this is me just telling you guys what's going on, that retail is starting to pick up and people are going back shopping and they like the experience. So you should get back into trying to work with stores and get your product out there and not just focus on online. Retail is the way to go, especially coming up this summer. Everybody's going to be out and about and people want to see fresh new products. So try to get into those local stores that you have around the way. Do your Google searches of what retailers are in your neighborhood and start to see what they carry and then see if you can get in there with your own stuff. All right, so that's it for this week. I will catch you guys next week on our next episode. And until then, peace.